All right, now Jenny, what's your mother's name?
My mother's name?
Yes.
Marianne.
Marianne. Okay. My godmother's name is Marianne.
Really?
Which means we are now best friends.
We are.
Like Batman, Superman.
Best of friends.
Best of friends that save the world and do obnoxious podcasts and talk about things that are not good. Namely this movie. But we'll get into it. But first, Jenny, I need to introduce our new show. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, good day. Whatever time you're listening to it. Welcome to the inaugural episode of HiPS. HiPS, you ask? Why would you be talking about your hip bones? And that is not what we're talking about. The name of this new show, Jenny, is called Hipster Pretentious S, abbreviated to HiPS. And this episode stems from, this new show, I should say, stems from something that Marvin and I said to each other in a previous show where I said, get off my ass about my hipster pretentious shit. And I thought, you know what makes sense? Make it a show where we talk about stuff in a way that doffs our caps, throws our scarves, and twirls our mustaches at modern cinema. So Jenny, frowns. Let's frown at some cine. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Today what we're talking about, and the reason that I asked what your mother's name was, well, my mother's name is not Marianne, unfortunately, but that's okay. The reason that I asked that is because, as we know, in the climactic ending of Batman Superman, their whole tizzy stops with them realizing they have the same mothers. Their mothers have the same names.
Yes.
We're getting really far ahead of ourselves.
I think so.
But that's okay. So first let's kick off. Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice came out in late March.
Mm-hmm.
Easter weekend. Jesus rose, but he didn't rise to see Batman Superman. In fact, he rose to get as far away from that movie as possible. In fact, he rose and rolled the rock back and said, you know what? No. If that's what's around, I'm not ready yet. Let me just stay dead. Because Zack Snyder is gonna raise Henry Cavill's Superman from the dead anyway, so what's the difference?
Sure.
A lot of Jesus imagery in these Zack Snyder movies, Jen.
Yeah.
He does like his Jesus. So, before we really raise our teacups to this movie in a negative fashion, let me just get a sense, Jenny. What did you think of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Stupid? Now I know it's been a while.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's hard to forget the experience of watching it.
Jenny, the reason that I wanted to do this episode, especially the inaugural episode of HiPS with Batman Superman, is I wanted to exorcise the demons of this movie.
Yeah.
We just saw, in the previous episode, we did discuss a good movie based on comic book characters, mm-hmm. Captain America: Civil War. Mm-hmm. You can catch that out on the previous episode of The Ramble On. Just click above or below, who cares? But I felt like this movie just keeps coming up in the weirdest ways, and I just want it out of my mind. I don't want to think about it anymore. It's stupid, and I have no hope for the rest of it. You know what, actually, Jenny? I kind of do have hope for the rest of these movies.
I do too.
Because it can't get worse than this.
No. No, it can't. As far as the movie goes, when I really started to enjoy it was at the end.
And
not
the credits.
Not for the anticipation of the credits, but because of
the
lead-ins of the Justice League.
It's almost over. I'm done with this. Get me out of here. I like when the credits rolled.
Yeah.
People might be asking, well, Frowns, Kevin, what is the plot of this movie? Batman and Superman, for some reason, don't like each other. We know why. Bruce Wayne does not like Clark Kent, Superman, because he broke a building. He broke his building, Jenny. He broke his building. Hurt some people, probably killed dozens. As comically, the newspaper in Metropolis said, dozens killed. I'm like, come on, you destroyed a third of the city. That is not dozens. That's thousands.
Yeah.
When they stopped screening it in New York City because of 9/11 flashbacks, you know you got a problem.
I feel like they really tried to force whatever animosity was going on between the two of them, and that really just made it difficult to watch and listen to the dialogue.
Absolutely. I think most of that rough dialogue is from Amy Adams, but we'll get there in a second. They were trying to pull from two different comic books in DC Comics history, which is Dark Knight Returns, which was the Frank Miller comic that kind of reinvigorated Batman as a darker character, and The Death of Superman, where Doomsday kills Superman. Does Superman stay dead? No, he's back alive in like three issues or something. So we'll see if it's 3 movies before he comes back to life. Yeah, it'll be 3 minutes, Jenny, before he comes back to life in Justice League. So as much as Zack Snyder wants to try and say that he was doing an original story, he can go get fired from Justice League because he's already spatting with with the Warner Brothers about this Justice League movie.
Really?
They just started filming like a month ago or a couple weeks ago, and already there's rumors of bad blood between Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So much for all that goodwill coming out of Man of Steel. It's like, don't worry, guys, it'll get better. No, it won't. It really won't. And Jenny, the name of the show is HiPS, and I'm neckbearding out for the comic books. The comics did it better because they told a thorough, enjoyable, and realistic story. Not realistic, not really. In fact, that's the problem with this movie, is they try and be too realistic with it.
Really?
I think so. It's like, what would happen if Superman was in the real world? Like that's what I'm kind of going with. It's like, well, he would go against Senate boards and stuff like that. It's not really. He just kind of do his own thing. But the problem with Henry Cavill's Superman is that he's written so drab and sad and depressing. It's not Superman. No one wants to be friends with this guy.
No.
It's funny that Dia de los Muertos, they celebrate him, I love that scene. It's like all the people in their paint and everything are like, save us, Superman. No.
It lost me when I was trying to buy into the storyline. I was trying really hard to buy into the storyline throughout the movie. But they lost me when Superman and Batman were having their fight, right? And then Superman starts spouting off about, my mom.
You have to save Martha. Why'd you say
Yeah, you're going to kill my mom.
Why'd you say Martha?
After that, I was just like, oh, I can't do it.
And something that I found interesting, and something that I discovered or remembered from a while ago, was the creators of South Park, Trey Parker, Matt Stone, said in a sit-down interview, one of those little Pally Hall things where they talk to film students and everything. Like, how do you make a good story and everything? They're like, well, you got to go through, you start with the beginning of your story, and this happens, but then this happens, therefore this happens. That's the whole basis of telling a good story. It's supposed to kind of wrap around in the weirdest way where it all kind of figures into each other, but you went through some real crazy shit to get there. Superman destroyed most of Metropolis with Zod, and then Batman didn't like that. And so Batman said, I'm going to stop him. And then Superman's like, oh no, this bad guy wants me. I should stop him before he stops me. And then Lex Luthor doesn't like that Superman's this all-powerful alien. And then he does, it's just, there's no real drama in it because there's nothing really set up. There's no way for you to feel invested in how these characters interact with each other.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I wasn't invested really in the story, even though I really wanted to be in the beginning, because I like Batman and Superman.
Obviously, I love Batman. I'm wearing a shirt under my scarf.
Well, you're permanently marked.
I'm permanently marked, too, with a Batman tattoo. But the reason I wear my Batman tattoo is because of the animated series and the graphic novels and comic books that I grew up on. And, a little bit the movies, those kind of factored in. But it was mostly the TV show that led into the other stuff. So I am a classic fan, if you will. There's a book that my friend recommended to me. My friend Chris, who does listen to the show, and I haven't had a chance to read it, and I really want to. It's called Wayne of Gotham. It's kind of a different take on Batman in Gotham and everything. So I really want to pick that up. I think I might get it on Amazon for a couple bucks. But he was praising it the last time I saw him when I was in St. Louis, and he's a huge Batman fan too. So I really want to know his thoughts on this movie.
That'd be interesting.
I'm going to see him this weekend. I'll ask him. Because I really, really want to know what he thought. Because I can't imagine, him liking this movie. I don't know why, it's just like, I know because he's a true to goodness fan. like I am. I just feel like the overall movie wouldn't satisfy a real Batman fan.
No.
I know this and Man of Steel do not satisfy Superman fans. You know, I think they kind of just push it to the side and say, nope, doesn't exist. Christopher Reeve is my Superman.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, one caveat to that, you know, real quick, just to get it out of the way, so we say some nice things, I guess. This movie sucks. There's no doubt. You know, I mean, to me, it sucks. I'm sure for you, it's just kind of whatever. Just kind of move on, and who gives a shit? Yeah. That's why we're doing this podcast. I need to exercise these demons.
Yeah, you do.
Ben Affleck was really good. His characterization, the way that the story was written, don't really make total sense, you know? Like, that's my one problem. It's just the story just doesn't ultimately make sense to the whole, on the whole. But Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne Batman was great.
I agree with that.
He's great in his role. I look forward to, in 2018, I think is the next is his Batman movie that's coming out. I look forward to that because he's writing, he's directing, he's producing, he's doing everything on it. And with his track record, the man's gonna make a good movie.
Yeah.
Argo and The Town and Gone Baby Gone. Gone Baby Gone might be the most underrated of that group. It's probably the best.
You know, I never saw that movie.
Ooh, check it out.
I need to watch it.
Check it out, Jenny.
Argo, I loved.
Argo was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I loved Argo, and I thought The Town was awesome. You know,
Yeah.
And that one, less so on Ben Affleck's part, but Jeremy Renner was outstanding in that movie.
I just love Jeremy Renner.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
but,
he really.
But in regards to Ben Affleck doing it, like that's the thing. Like you're Ben Affleck, you're an multi-time Academy Award winner for writing and for producing, even though it should have been for directing Argo. But you know that's neither here nor there. How is he sitting on a movie set with Zack Snyder and Zack Snyder's like, all right, Ben, so you know what's gonna be really cool, man? You know what's gonna be really cool if Batman does this, man. Let's do that. And he's just like, okay. I'm just gonna trust you, Zach, and hope that it turns out really well. You know, you can tell that Ben Affleck is like, I know my part's gonna be good because I'm doing it. I don't give a shit what anybody else is doing. But yeah, it's that I'm looking forward to is Batman. Wonder Woman. We'll see how it goes. I didn't mind Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I thought she was fine.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
She didn't do anything groundbreaking. I thought, you know, a lot of the stuff that she was doing, the thievery stuff, I'm like, Catwoman or something? Like, she was very Catwoman-esque in the way that she was doing it, but then they introduced her as Wonder Woman, and it's like, okay, now she's Wonder Woman. Yeah. But she was Catwoman. She was kind of behaving like Catwoman in the way that she was very sneakily kind of getting in. She brought attention to herself because of how beautiful she is, but while she's distracting you there, she's also stealing from you otherwise. So yeah, I'm still intrigued. She'll be the first solo female superhero movie.
Really?
I think so. Every other female superhero has been stuck in a team. Fantastic Four, X-Men, the Avengers. They have no plan for Scarlett Johansson to get her own movie or Elizabeth Olsen to get her own movie, which I guess makes sense. I don't think those characters have a lot of meat to them, so they make sense in a team aspect. But
yeah, I don't know. Scarlett's fight scenes are pretty awesome.
Scarlet Witch or Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she does some wicked choreography.
Yeah.
You can tell she's taking some dance classes or two. Mm-hmm. That's a reference to her character being a ballerina. That was a stupid joke. So everybody that came over from the Superman movie, they suck and they're stupid. Who cares? Diane Lane seemed to not give a shit, but she still had fun with her dialogue. Like, that's the one thing, Jenny. It's like this movie just has such tonal problems. It's like, we're serious. We're always serious. And then Martha Kent comes in cracking jokes.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not how you do that. Like, even, you know, I see a lot of the complaints about Captain America Civil War is that there's a lot of serious stuff, but then they're all cracking jokes and get a little serious again, and then they'll crack some jokes. But
it's usually how they are, though.
It is, yeah. And what I was about to say about that is that it worked because, like, exactly, that's kind of how they are, how they've been a little bit in these Marvel movies is that they have a serious situation, but they find a way to make it kind of funny, or they kind of have a laugh. In this one, the way that it's written, the way that it's created, is that there's no room for kind of a loose attitude or a comedic attitude. You know, everything's just so, I need to stop him, and no, I need to stop you, and well, I'm gonna stop all of you. That's my Lex Luthor.
Well, you did it better. I would say
know.
your Lex Luthor is a lot better.
Oh, trust me, Jenny. Anybody's Lex Luthor is better, and I feel so bad because I like Jesse Eisenberg.
I like him too, and that's just Jesse Eisenberg putting his spin on Lex Luthor. But I didn't like it. I didn't like him as Lex Luthor.
I didn't either. And you had something so it was kind of like Eddie Redmayne in Jupiter Ascending.
Didn't see that.
Like, well, that's a good thing because both of them, Jenny, are just talented guys being directed to do terrible things. It just doesn't make sense at all with what they were trying to do. But yeah, it's like you have the perfect baseline with Jesse Eisenberg. I know they probably didn't want to completely go, what's his face, Social Network. They didn't want to go complete Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
But when you get a guy like that who's done that role before, sure, it's kind of typecasting a little bit, but Jesse Eisenberg's always typecast like that. So just go with it. You set him up as like this internet mogul already. You walk into this Google-looking building, LexCorp. Just go with it. You know, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to just pull the trigger and say, let's just do a Mark Zuckerberg type, except he has access to technology that can destroy the world. Yeah. You got a more interesting story. Like, I was so, like, that's the kicker of watching this movie is in my head, I'm making a better movie while I'm watching it. I'm adjusting things, I'm getting rid of things, I'm bringing things in, changing elements that needed to be changed to make it a better movie than what it was. Like, it was just poor. The thing, for me, I don't know anything about the comics, or, I mean, you know that. So I go just because I plain old just like superhero movies. Yeah. But this one, for me, was a big outlier because it just wasn't well put together, and it's not enough to just have Superman and Batman on screen. Right. I feel like maybe some people get excited just because it's Superman and Batman. I think, and that's the. I'll let you get back to that in a second. I think that's why it made so much money its opening weekend, because everyone was so excited. They're like, "It's here!" There's a lot of hype. And Friday, from Friday to Saturday, and from Saturday to Sunday, historic drops each day. So they made all that money mostly Thursday and Friday. But continue on, Jen. Well, no, that was really just my point, that if you're gonna have all that hype for a big movie, like it has the potential to be a pretty damn good movie. You're talking about Batman versus Superman. Well, it has the potential to be a great movie. But they didn't put it together right. They didn't put it together right at all. Zack Snyder, and I'm sure you saw the clips of sad Ben Affleck. No. Oh, okay. When they so they released it in America first, and then they released it in Britain a week later. So the reviews had already come in from the States and everything. A lot of the international critics had already seen it, and Yahoo Britain, Yahoo UK, whatever, had an interview with the entire cast, crew, and everybody. Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck were together in this interview, and they're like, "Well, what do you think about the critical response? It wasn't all that great." And Henry Cavill was very diplomatic. He was like, "Well, we're in it to satisfy the fans, and the fans have said they liked it." And Ben Affleck was just sitting there with his Michael Jordan cry face. Like, he looks so sad. Yeah. Like, he's, even he's like, "God damn it, what did I do? Why did I sign up for this shit? I didn't sign up for this shit. Damn it, what movie is that from? I will just go with Lethal Weapon. I'm too old for this shit." That's what Ben Affleck said. And then you talk to Zack Snyder, and he's like, "Oh, I make comic book movies. I don't make movies for critics." It's just like, well, obviously, because your movies usually suck. Oh, man. But that's just, Marvin and I have talked about it before, and Marvin's even mentioned that he loves Watchmen, and I really like Watchmen. Have you ever seen Watchmen? I started a long time ago. I never finished it. I'm going to give you the DVD before you leave. Okay. Watchmen, based off of one of the most influential graphic novels of the 80s. It's on Time's 100 best books of all time. So that shows how big deal the book is. He's like, "Well, Watchmen was good." And I was like, "Yeah, it was good because he didn't do anything creatively to it. He just took shit right off the page and stuck it on the screen," which is kind of what he did with this movie. There's no transition shots. There's no way to kind of build you into the next scene, because the way that Zack Snyder sees it is that he's flipping the pages of the graphic novel. Mm-hmm. He's taking The Dark Knight Rises and flipping from page to page, and he's like, oh, okay, Superman's fighting now. All right, now Batman's fighting. Superman, Batman, Superman, Batman. It just, like, scenes just jump to scenes. You literally take that movie, throw it into a salad bowl, shake it up, dump it out, and as long as the ending has Batman and Superman fighting, and Superman, quote-unquote, dying, nothing is different in that entire movie. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the thing that's most frustrating about it. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, one of the greatest movies ever. Mm-hmm. It rearranged sequences from the book. Things that happened earlier that happened later in the movie, or things that happened later in the book that happened earlier in the movie. But the filmmakers made it work effectively, where even though you read the book and then watch the movie, it's different. You're like, it still works. You know? This movie does not do that. Does not do that, Jenny. That's frustrating. Also, Superman doesn't care about people, only Lois Lane.
Oh, Lois Lane.
So, real quick, before I transition over to that, it's just funny where in the, what happens? People end up dying at Congress, and he goes into the exile, and meets up with Kevin Costner, and Kevin Costner's like, oh, I always heard the Silence of the Lambs scene. I kept hearing those horses, boy. They kept screaming. But then I met your mother and the screaming went away. Oh, okay, Dad, I guess I'll do that too. I have Lois Lane. She makes my screaming go away. The millions of people that died in Metropolis 18 months ago. I don't hear the screaming anymore. Lois Lane, who is one of comics' most influential and ruthless women, mm-hmm. like Lois Lane was a pinnacle for women back in the day. Yeah. Is relegated to a shrieky, no-sense damsel in distress. They try and make it seem like she's this big, tough badass. Like, are you a terrorist? Yeah. It's like, why are you... What? But then, don't worry, Jimmy Olsen. By the way, Jimmy Olsen was the newspaper boy, the photographer for mm-hmm. the Daily Planet from the comic book. He was the CIA agent that the terrorists killed in the beginning of the movie. He was a little Easter egg. Yeah. And Superman, thought it was more important to wait until Lois was mm-hmm. in prison before saving her. Not that guy. Not the CIA guys. No. They can die. It's okay. Yeah. All those people in Metropolis 18 months ago, no, they can die. It's okay. Don't worry about them. Lois Lane, gotta save her, though.
I like Amy Adams a lot. And it is disappointing when one of your favorite actors gets kind of into a role like that, and then just gets turned into a character that shouldn't be so damsel in distress.
You think that
then it gets written that way.
Yeah, it gets written that way. That's a character that should not be written that way. That's a character that should be given. They're like, oh, she's investigating. Look at her investigatively journaling or whatever. But no, she's just walking up to people and be like, I'm Lois Lane. I have questions for you. And they're like, okay. I just told the police the same thing. Well, tell me now. Yeah. You're not investigating anything. You're the worst. You're literally the worst.
Get out of here, Lane.
Get out of here, Lois. Like, Lawrence Fishburne should have told her to get the hell out of here a lot more. Get the hell out of here. I'm done with you. Oh, Jesus. This movie just causes me such a headache. Batman and Superman want to fight for a reason. Mm-hmm. They don't like each other because Lex Luthor kind of forces them not to like each other more.
Conjured up reasons.
He brought up reasons. Yeah. Mostly, I have your mother. I'll kill her if you don't kill Batman. There's no... Lex Luthor has no qualms with Batman, by the way.
Right.
Like, there's no reason for him to fight with Batman. It's not like when he jumped into the Krypton ship, where he started mm-hmm. making Doomsday and all that stuff. Yeah. Like, he learns who Superman is. He learns he's Clark Kent, so that's why he kidnaps his mom. That makes sense. Okay, I get that. You want power. You steal the ship. Cool. Why do you want Batman dead? What's this human gonna do? Stop, like Batman kind of hovered in the back when Doomsday showed up, and Wonder Woman and Superman got the piss beat out of him. Batman's like, oh wait. My moment will open and I'll help.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason why Lex Luthor, he doesn't know he's Bruce Wayne. Mm-mm. If he knew it was Bruce Wayne, it would make sense. Like somehow he figured out he's Bruce Wayne and he's like, okay, that's my competition. I gotta beat him. Mm-hmm. There's no reason why Lex Luthor wants Batman gone. Other than, hey, I know that you and Batsy are having problems. Go kill that guy.
Yeah. There's a lot of parts in the story that don't quite fit, but Lex Luthor's part was just kind of like a thorn for me. You know what I mean?
Yes. Also, he should have been the Joker. Like, if he was the Joker, it'd make more sense. Like, you replace Lex Luthor with or you replace Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor with Jared Leto's Joker. You introduce Joker earlier. Mm-hmm. That makes sense if you're basing it off of, Christopher Nolan's Heath Ledger's Joker, which was all about chaos and madness. Yeah. If you do that, that makes sense. Why Superman is coerced into killing Batman. Mm-hmm. Speaking of killing, Batman does a lot of it.
Yeah.
I just want to jump there real quick and just be like, that's not how Batman works. Not how Batman should ever work, Jenny. That's another frustrating part. I'm like, Batman doesn't kill. Mm-hmm. I don't care what comic book you pull out of your ass. It's like, the essence of Batman is that he protects people. He saves lives. He sacrifices himself for the greater good to avoid people dying. Mm-hmm. He's avenging his parents' death by saving other people's lives because he doesn't want gangsters and thugs and meta crazies to do that shit. That was stupid, and I hated it, and I was so mad when they did that. And he's just freely doing it. He's just like, people, Russian gangsters, whatever. It's like, oh, fuck you, Zack Snyder. This movie, Jenny, was 2 hour, 40 minutes of fuck you, Zack Snyder. Like, almost like he was doing it in a meta way to tell himself to fuck off. He'd like, oh man, these guys are going to think it's so cool, but fuck me. Asshole. Go learn story structure. Jenny, in my review that I posted on the Rambling Men Facebook page, which you can find on Facebook, just search Rambling Men. You'll find it, everybody. Seriously, search Rambling Men, like the page. We're struggling for likes here. I've been stuck in a rut for a while now, Jenny. Anyways, on the review that I typed up, I pretty much said that Zack Snyder is on the same level as Michael Bay. I know that sounds like an insult, but the guy thought he was making this super important, super serious, this is going to change the world kind of movie. It's like, dude, you just make big dumb action movies like Michael Bay. At least Michael Bay realizes what a pervert, misogynist asshole he is, and he doesn't try and put anything super serious in it. Whereas Zack Snyder's like, this movie's going to be smart, and it's going to say something. It's going to say that you're a hack filmmaker. That's what it says.
I never thought of it that way, comparing it to Michael Bay. It was really just a bunch of big action sequence, like blow him up kind of thing, and then
just blow shit up.
The story didn't jive.
Story didn't jive. The acting was fine.
Well, I'm not going to complain about Ben Affleck as Batman.
No, not at all. No, I'm not going to complain about him as Batman at all. I'm going to complain about everything else, though. Yeah. The things that make good movies. At the end of the day, it's not just good acting. It's everything around it. Mm-hmm. You need a coherent story. You can't change your characters almost a complete 180. You can't make your character a complete 180 from who he is because you want it to fit this story. You can't just make Batman kill because, this makes sense now. But why does it make sense? There's no real reasoning why Batman suddenly decides, I'm just going to start killing people. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I think he took those dozens that Superman took. They evened it out.
They did even it
out. They evened it out. Oh, I feel like there's more that I can say. Ooh, we're introduced to all those great new heroes we're going to meet later in the series.
Yep.
The Flash, Cyborg. Who cares about Cyborg? Jenny, do you even know who Cyborg is?
No.
Don't worry about it. I don't either.
Okay.
Yeah. Aquaman. Who really gives a shit about Aquaman? The only reason people are interested in Aquaman is because it's played by Khal Drogo.
And that's why I got excited at the end of the movie.
Yeah, because Jason Momoa just likes being the big monster dude who makes movies.
To me, he looks like a cool Aquaman.
He is. I think because he's a Hawaiian dude. You know, he grew up on the beach. I think he's got that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's got that. Mm-hmm. The way they introduced him was so dumb. Like, Jenny, well, yeah. Honestly, I could bring up... Like, let's just bring up our email where we've emailed each other, like, trailer clips or something like that. That's basically what they did. They're like, we have no creative way to do it, so let's just shoehorn it in. It's all so shoehorned in. Like, shit, we got to introduce more characters. YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
They pieced them together at the end.
Like Amy Adams' stupid ass who threw that kryptonite spear into the water only to jump right back in and retrieve it. That, like, how did she know that she... I forgot about that. Like, how did she know that she had to do that?
Yeah.
Like, she's just like, you know what, I'm gonna throw this because I need to save Clark. And throw it in there, and then Batman, 100 miles in the air and 100 miles away, says, we need that spear. It's a Kryptonian. And then Lois, almost like she has super hearing, she has Superman hearing. She's been getting plugged so much by Clark Kent, she suddenly has super hearing. She's like, you know what, guys? I'm going to get that spear. And she dives in. She almost dies, of course. Mm-hmm. That is a perfect moment. I don't care how hackneyed it is and how people would probably complain about that. It would still be cooler if Aquaman saved her and chucked the spear up. You don't see him.
Yep.
You're just like, you see like a quick fist that tosses it up there, saves her, you know, and floats off. Who cares? Mm-hmm. It's stupid. It sounds so corny and cheesy. It's better than him awkwardly staring at a camera.
Yeah.
We already got a Flash appearance when Batman awoke from that dream. Mm-hmm. And the Flash was going through time and everything. You got your Flash appearance. Cyborg, I don't know. You throw in the actor Ray Fisher getting crumbled by debris in Metropolis. Just something better than what they did. Like, it seems so lazy. And Lex Luthor is so smart that he made their emblems for him already. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Lex Luthor.
God, that was just so stupid. Like, honestly, the name of this episode, Jenny, is going to be Frowns and Kevin, Dawn of Stupid. Because, like, everything is just so stupid. Like, story-wise, it's almost like they whiteboarded ideas for what they wanted to do in a movie. Mm-hmm. But they didn't say, okay, let's do that. Let's put it creatively. No, David S. Goyer just said, I am literally writing the coattails of Christopher Nolan's trilogy. I am a terrible writer. I'm just going to throw these into a story and hope that it works. That's why they had to bring in the writer from Argo, Chris Terrio, to touch it up. Poor Chris Terrio, that he gets credit on this movie with David S. Goyer because this is not a representation of his talent. Because I think he's a talented writer. This does not support that. Ugh.
It was just a bit forced.
It was so forced. Yeah. That was forced. The fight was forced. Like, at that point, the fight wasn't even cool. First off, it's dark. You can't see what's going on. And then Zack Snyder thinks he's a filmmaker, so he's like shooting it like a Terrence Malick movie. Like, get over yourself, dude. You know, everyone complains they can't make sense of what's going on in Michael Bay's movies. They don't know what robot's fighting what robot. Mm-hmm. But at least he pulls the camera back so that you can actually watch the widescreen action going.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder thinks a good action sequence is getting right up in Superman and Batman's faces. They're punching each other.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I know which one is kind of muted dark blue, and I know which one's kind of dark black. But I don't know who's punching who because you keep moving the camera. Mm-hmm. Like, I rewatched the monster clip that everyone gets a boner over is the Save Martha scene, mm-hmm. which is a cool scene because it's like, that's the way that on those Arkham video games, it's the way you fight as Batman, you know? It's like you're jumping from guy to guy, busting heads. But then it's just like the way that it's edited is so quick and choppy that it looks so disjointed. Mm-hmm. And it's not smooth. If you had a smooth scene like from Old Boy, yeah, really getting hipster here, Jimmy. Or from, you know what, to keep it superhero themed, if you kept it like in Daredevil, the single shot, you know, going across the hall or whatever, mm-hmm. if you keep it like that, that's interesting and that's engaging and it really draws your audience in. It's like, oh shit, yeah, Batman. Instead it's just like, it's like, okay, and that guy's neck is broken, he's dead.
Yeah.
You probably killed 3 or 4 more people in that warehouse. Ah, Jay. And then Superman dies, kind of, and then he comes back to life because he's Jesus.
He is Jesus.
It's nice to know that Superman is Jesus. If y'all didn't know, Jesus wears a red cape. Fortunately, I don't think many Christians listen to our show, Jenny, so we're not going to offend anybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're good. So, Jenny, oh, that's the ramble on. I was going to ask if you wanted to stamp this movie, but...
I won't stamp this movie even if that was an option.
Even if it was the ramble on, I would not stamp it either.
Yeah.
I would say go watch anything else, honestly. Stay home and watch the Criterion Collection on Hulu Plus. I'll give you my login if you want it that bad.
To everybody.
To everybody.
All listeners get.
All 4 of you get my login to Hulu Plus, and you can watch the Criterion Collection where real filmmakers know how to make movies. So, Jenny, anything that you, real quick, before we close everything out, we give our hipsters so long, is there anything that you would like to throw a recommendation out? Anything that you're watching? Anything that you're keeping up with?
Well, I want to start watching this Bloodline.
I heard it's really good.
I heard the same thing.
Yes.
So.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it.
That's fine.
But I'm excited to watch it.
It's got Ben Mendelsohn. It's got Kyle Chandler. Those guys are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stand by your recommendation. It's on my Netflix list, too. I really got to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw The Jungle Book, the live-action version.
Really?
Jenny, I know this is kind of out of my hipster character here that I'm doing for the show. I love that movie.
Really?
Yeah. I was a huge fan. It was one of my favorites when I was a kid, the cartoon.
Yeah.
So seeing it in live action and how well Jon Favreau did with it, he knocked it out of the park.
Jon Favreau did?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I can get behind that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. The CGI was impressive.
Really?
The voice acting was impressive. Yeah, the movie was just great. I saw people online recommending Jon Favreau do a Star Wars movie. I think that'd be a fun idea.
Oh, nice.
So, I don't know. People know what they do. So, from everyone here with the Rambling Men, this was the inaugural episode of HiPS. We appreciate you donning your newsy cap with us. Don't see Batman, Superman. Dawn of Stupid. Spend your money elsewhere. Trademark that. Take that, Warner Brothers. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time with another something. So long.